It's how the hustle goes. See what the jukebox knows. Put my last quarter on. I'll play authority song. Honesty or mystery. Tell me I'm not scared anymore.
What's up, guys? I'm Tyler Hosley, and there's like hundreds of Van Wilder quotes I could open with, but I'm going with my personal favorite. Your labia feels so good around my swollen phallus.
Hi, I'm Kevin Matthews, Scottish film fan living in England. This week we are covering two comedies. One is from 1983 and one is from 2002. And I realised before we started recording this evening that it's the 2002 film I will be discussing while mentioning the phrase, "it was a different time," a lot more than the 1983 film.
I'm Dave Gray, and this week I'm going to start with quoting myself that I kept saying while watching Van Wilder. Fucking why? And this is Raiders of the Podcast. Yay! I had a pretty short week because I have been in the mood for comedies. I've watched a couple favorites that we've covered before, including Airplane. I love Airplane and Young Frankenstein. I love Young Frankenstein. And because I have been developing a theory that a lot of comedies are just riffs on the Marx Brothers formula, despite that really aggravating Tyler, since a lot of them are three guys with one being the snarky lead and two goofy sidekicks of different, almost always of different ability or ethnicity, except for brain donors, where they're all honkies and brain damaged. So I was working on it, and I went back and I watched one of the Ritz brothers. You guys know who the Ritz brothers are?
I've heard of them, but I don't think I've seen any of their stuff.
So the
Yeah,
Ritz,
I've heard, but I don't know who they are.
awesome. They are another. They were another comedy trio with three brothers, like the Marx Brothers, and they were around the same time, the 30s. Also started in what's it called, the traveling shows. The totally brain farting on the term. You know what I mean, right? Vaudeville.
No,
They were a vaudeville trio.
oh,
Then they went to movies, and they did much lower, cheaper stuff. So I watched one of their movies I hadn't seen before because it co-starred Bela Lugosi, called The Gorilla, and it was terrible. Like, I didn't laugh at all. Now, maybe it's because I was tired, but it did not hit the spot. Apparently, they've done a musical comedy version of the Three Musketeers that's supposed to be really funny. I need to look it up eventually, but I haven't seen that one.
You can already hear the disbelief in your voice there.
I
It's
do,
supposed
yeah.
to be really funny.
I've seen their other. I haven't seen all their movies. I mean, it was the 30s. They cranked them out, but the ones I've seen definitely make me think that it's a lie. I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not, because the Three Musketeers one actually stars Don Amici, who could be funny, especially when he got older. Because he was in a lot of classics in the 80s, 70s, and 80s. So maybe it's okay. I'm going to go in with open mind. But everything else I mentioned, you should watch. You should watch Airplane. You should watch Young Frankenstein. Watch Dr. Strangelove. You should watch Dr. Strangelove. Watch Animal House, because we watched frat comedy this week. So yeah, I mean, go watch the good. Don't watch The Gorilla. No matter how much you wanna watch Bela Lugosi before he got really bad. Just don't do it to yourself.
Is that you?
That's me.
Okay.
I mean, I can make something up if you want me to. I mean, you know.
No,
I didn't watch anything
fine.
else. If I did, I can't
I
remember it.
watched a few things that again I will try to remember what I've discussed last week and what I haven't. Did I mention Tick Tick Boom last week?
You did. I just don't remember if it was on the episode or in the chat. But we
I
did
know.
talk about it last week.
Because Andrew Garfield has a perfect sad boy face.
And that it should have been a Spider-Man crossover with Peter and JJJ.
Yes.
In high
So I
school.
think I did mention that because that definitely rings a bell. I watched a Greg Araki film, another one, in lieu of whatever Tyler brings us later on in the month, because now it's coming. I watched 1993's Totally Fucked Up. From the Araki films that I've seen, this is the least of them, but it was still good enough to get a Kevin 7 because it's pretty sharp, it's pretty funny, it's quite insightful. I think I think it more than does enough to distract you from the rough edges. You know, it's definitely that aesthetic that I know Tyler loves. Araki got a cast together. It used it feels like a lot of it is shot on camcorder. I can't remember if it was all shot on camcorder. It's very much a load of conversations and tangents with an overarching sort of storyline getting to a point that, in fact, the more I think about it, the more I think Tyler loves this one. You love this one, don't you, T?
I do. I am a Greg Araki apologist. I think I like everything he's ever done. I think he's great. But yeah, Totally Fucked Up is awesome. Super underrated in terms of his filmography.
I don't think apologist is the right word for T and Araki.
Oh, no.
He doesn't quite worship him like he does Rob Zombie.
Oh, no, that's
I'd say
level.
that Araki is a lesser deity in Tyler's pantheon.
Yeah. He's in there, but I mean, there ain't much that compares to me and Rob Zombie love. I mean, that's a totally different thing.
But I like, you know, there are filmmakers that we've discussed before. Spike Lee being the main one that comes to mind at the moment, but I can't. There was someone else. I can't recall who it is, but filmmakers that you know, whether you like or dislike their films, you know, specific titles or in general their filmography, they have a very solid point that they're making throughout their body of work and in their individual movies. And Araki's very much in that vein. And that's why I like a lot of his stuff. Now, it's not all, you know, each film being exactly the same as the other, but they often have the surrealism, they have the bit of nihilism in there, and just this sort of thread of defiant, strong voices running through them. And you know, I think like more people should always be hopefully stumbling over his work, because he does seem to be a bit overlooked, I would say. And I'd argue that he's been quite a talented and influential figure in modern queer cinema anyway. So on a very different note, I watched The Accountant 2. Or it's weirdly comes up as like The Accountant Squared on the opening title. So that was fun. It was a bit more fun than the first film, what little I can remember of it. Yeah, it was okay. It's lifted by any scene that has Ben Affleck with John Bernthal. They both work really well together, and that's what lifts this easily.
I think how you mean to phrase that is John Barenthal does all the heavy lifting once again and drags bloated corpse of Ben Affleck to the finish line.
Well, Affleck's kind of fun in this. It's almost now I can't recall exactly how he put over his sensitive portrayal of his main character traits in the first film, but this seems to be more tapping into the comedy of it, because he is either striving for some self-awareness or has other people trying to force him to be a bit more self-aware, as he is rather blunt with others and makes people uncomfortable and acts how he is acting. But it's decent, and a lot of people liked it even more than I did. It's definitely, I didn't get to the end of The Accountant and think I need to see The Accountant 2. Someone should be making that movie. I got to the end of The Accountant 2 and I was like, I would like to see another film with Bernthal and Affleck bickering and just generally having adventures that also use a little bit of gunplay and violence. And then just to really stay in Tyler's good books, he knows how much I liked Y2K. I finally watched this. It's a lot of fun. It's an absolute blast. Y2K is made by people who watched Maximum Overdrive too many times on VHS, and as they got older, they were like, we should rework that film, but be in on the joke. That's what Y2K is. I like there's some like lo-fi practical special effects that are just, they're good and they're silly. Everything about this is pretty silly. That's probably an understatement, but it's so much fun. I mean, the premise is that silly anyway, that I can understand why it almost emboldened the filmmakers just to sort of lean further and further into things. And by the time it gets to the finale, I was like, it was so much fun and so cheesy, and I was absolutely loving it. Just really loving it. It's the directorial debut of Kyle Mooney, and I know that he has he's been acting for some time. I can't remember if he helped to write or direct anything with the Lonely Island, or if he's like part of their group in any degree, or if he was just a part of Brigsby Bear, because I remember his name from that one. But do you guys remember who else makes it, or is it just the three of them in the Lonely Island?
I think it's just the three, but I've actually never seen Brigsby Bear, so I'm not too sure about that one.
Yeah, I've seen Brigsby Bear, but I don't know offhand. I think Lonely Island's just the three of them though.
Yeah.
Brigsby Bear
I can't
though
remember.
is crap. Dave Carey, Kyle Mooney wrote it.
Right, okay.
I
So
think he was
it's
an
up,
SNL writer for a while.
right.
He's another,
That makes sense.
rich white guy who went to an Ivy League school.
He co-wrote this with Evan Winter, and he has a small role in it. But I remember scurrying through his filmography and seeing Brigsby Bear on there, and I couldn't remember. He's maybe the main character in Brigsby Bear. I can't even recall.
Yeah, he is.
But
He's
it's
the lead
good.
in that
Yeah.
one. Now looking at his
So
photo, yeah, he is the lead dude in Brigsby Bear. He
so
also
it's
he
good.
had a
It's been a while.
Netflix series that I didn't think was funny, but other people did. So yay. Brigsby Bear is solid though. That's a good
Yeah,
one.
yeah, it's very good. I think you'd like Brigsby Bear, Tyler.
No, I think you'll hate Brigsby Bear, Tyler.
I'm going to say like it. Yeah.
I'll tell
It,
you what. I'll watch it next week and I'll let you know.
It is so quirky and twee. This was actually one of the movies you voted out on my list this week, so that should let you know.
Okay.
But I am Team Tyler with Y2K. I know he loved it.
Oh,
I
I
knew he
fucking
would
love
love
it.
it when I heard it was coming out. But it's a lot of fun. Did you see it, Dave? Or are you like waiting for Turkey Day?
I'm waiting for Tyler to pick it. Are you kidding me?
All right, yeah, that's fair.
Oh yeah, I love Y2K.
I mean,
One of my
it-
favorite. One of my favorite gags in the movie. It's I won't say who dies in the scene, but what this one character gets like roller skates and break stuff starts playing, and then he just dies instantly by grinding a rail. It's fucking hysterical. I laugh every time, but
Yeah.
it's so good. It's
But
so
yeah,
good.
T got back from watching it and spent 5 days telling us how it's the funniest movie he's seen in years. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to skip this until I have to watch it. So here we are,
It-
waiting.
the the first act is more kind of I mean, I don't know if you disagree to I think it's more kind of like a modern-ish John Hughes vibe. I think it gets funnier when you get the Y2K element properly.
Yeah, the first
That's
half is kind of like Super Bad meets Y2K. I mean, meets John
yeah,
Hughes, and then it gets more into the sci-fi horror once the 1999 ends. But yes.
yeah. But because it's so inherently ridiculous, I was laughing a lot more at that, and that is where they mine a lot more of the laughs anyway. So that's fine. But I'm sure there are people that really like the earlier scenes as well. But I was enjoying it, and then I started really enjoying it when it all kicked in, and that was me.
Um, Small heads up. I'm going to sound a lot like Todd Phillips this week, so just bear with me. I watched some National Lampoon stuff. I watched Cattle Call, which is about a couple of video store guys who decide to make their own casting couch style porn. I really enjoyed that one. That one was fun, and it's got Thomas Ian Nicholas in it from who played what's his name, Kevin from American Pie. I like him. Always did. That's a fun one though. And I watched Van Wilder freshman year. For me, that is one of the better direct-to-video sequels that came out in this particular decade. They made a lot of direct-to-video sequels of these movies. Like they did a road trip beer pong, which it was okay, and then they did like Without a Paddle too. They made a lot of these, but I think that freshman year is probably the best of the bunch. That one was pretty funny, and I ended that with it's not a National Lampoon's movie, but I watched The Hangover again, the first one. I think that's a fucking classic. I love The Hangover. And yeah, that's pretty much me.
I was muted. Sorry. This week we watched. I'm behind. I didn't pull things up. I'm sorry. It's been an off week. What did we watch this week?
1983 Canadian beer comedy Strange Brew and 2002's National Lampoon's Van Wilder Party Liaison starring Ryan Reynolds and future diplomatic political figure Cal Penn.
Nice.
I
Look
think
at
that's
that.
better than just co-crediting Tara Reid. Although she's delightful in Van Wilder.
I think you have the wrong term of the term delightful. Well, I guess Kevin, since me and T picked, would you like to pick a movie and tell us about it?
Oh yes, I'm actually going to go with Van Wilder Party Liaison because this was an interesting rewatch for me. So Tyler's pick, I'd seen this some time ago. I'd been a fan. I am a fan. I still find Van Wilder Party Liaison funny. Okay, I still chuckle. I still enjoy it. I still like Ryan Reynolds in a role that feels very much like a perfect fit for Ryan Reynolds. It is the kind of thing he's tried to do in every movie where he's being mainly Ryan Reynolds. So that's fine. But before we go any further, it was a different time. Like the first 10 minutes, maybe not even that, of Van Wilder had a litany of things that just made me cringe. The names are bad enough just for characters that have to be defined based on their racial identity or alleged origin. That's something. I mean, it's not long into the film where Van Wilder is beside a woman called Took Me. And that scene, I still chuckle at that scene for the way it's set up, right? But then the name plays into the gag, but also the name is just like kind of this very thin ice racial gag that I'm like, oh man, it was a different time. And that's before we meet Kal Penn's character, who's Taj Mahal Badalandabad. I'm like, oh, good grief. I mean, Kal Penn I was going to say must look back on this and cringe, but he doesn't look back on this. He must just want to scrub this. Anyway, a bit of plot, I guess. Reynolds is Van Wilder. He has been at his, prestigious institution for 7 years without graduating. He doesn't need much to graduate, but he kind of likes that life there where he's a big fish in a small pond and can help a lot of other people in his way. Tara Reid plays Gwen Pearson, who is a sort of, uni paper journalist who's asked to do a piece on him, and he'd love her to. He'd love her piece to be on him. Was that it? Have I mucked up the
Yes.
joke? Yeah.
Yep.
He'd love her piece to be on him, and obviously, Tara Reid's character has a douchebag boyfriend, so he will be a nemesis at some point. And I think that covers everything. I was going to say cameos, but there's supporting roles there's Curtis Armstrong in here, Paul Gleason, Tim Matheson. Tyler's just happy because one of the first people on screen is also known as the Shermanator.
Yep.
So that's him about to jump. I kind of watched this time thinking I still enjoy a lot of the jokes, like as wildly varying in quality as they are. I still like them mainly because of Reynolds' delivery, because I like Reynolds, and if you like Reynolds, this is Reynolds being Reynolds. But his character is quite an amusing mix of him being helpful to others and quite selfless, being really, really selfish, and just shallow as all hell, and also like really being a bit of a loser. That's all mixed in there. And I don't think the first time I watched this I ever thought about how much of a loser he seems to be at times. But he is. And it's kind of the point of the film when people are asking him, what are you going to do next? And why have you been here for so long? And it is because he can make the campus like his kingdom. But going beyond that is a whole world out there. And what does he become? What does he do? He's very much worried about becoming the sort of person he sees in others, namely his father. So It has. It doesn't do much with that. I think it would have been a more interesting film if it had explored that more. But it's not interested in that. It's interested in being this, campus comedy. And for that, I still think it's perfectly fine. It's actually quite tame compared to a lot of the teen comedies of this. I've got to say of this era, but what you think of as teen comedies of this era, it's just quite scattershot, really, with all of the stuff that's thrown in there. Feels a bit, yeah. It's I don't know. It never links together well, but then it never stays as sort of fractured as it would if it was perhaps being just a satisfying series of sketches. It really, in every way, seems to be a bit in the middle of things. So I wasn't familiar with the director, Walt Becker. I can't say that he's got a shining filmography that we'll all rush to explore for the podcast, although I didn't mind Wild Hogs, and if it caused me to laugh even harder, I might just force Dave to watch it at some point. Or
Buying the
rewatch
cow. Buying the cow is great. I love that movie. So good.
Dave will be crying already. Who knows, buying the cows in his future and maybe Wild Hogs. And writers David Wagner and Brent Goldberg. I believe they also worked on The Girl Next Door, which is really good. I think a bit better than this, but I'm not sure if they worked on many other projects together. Yeah, this is let's say I still like this, but you can't actually just recommend this to people now without saying, well, it was a different time. It was way back in 2002. People were making, many jokes with crude, racially derivative names identifying characters. People would have a punchline being a woman with a very deep voice. People would go on about other people having eaten
Woman with
too much.
that was a trans joke, dude.
oversized.
Then they
Yeah, I
stare at
know.
her crotch. Come on.
I know. That's what I mean. It's kind of xenophobic, transphobic, fatphobic. I can't recall everything else that's in it. I mean, his dad's really about to panic when he sees Van Wilder come out of the cupboard in a dress, but then there's a girl there, so it's a case of thank God. So you've got that, and there it's a big ugly mess at certain points. But I think for me the fun and the better parts outweigh that, and I can still enjoy it. But I could understand if folk wouldn't want to give it the time of day, especially nowadays. But hey, the Eclairs gag and the dog's balls are funny.
No.
I just had to tag it on the end because I forgot. There's something funny about just having a dog beside you in a hot tub and its balls just pop up to the surface. It's just the big balls. Yeah, it's just a funny balls gag, Dave. And then the Eclairs gag really keeps adding those extra touches. Rant away, Dave. Rant away.
I'm not going to rant. There's nothing worth ranting about. It's just humor is highly subjective. I don't find this funny. I didn't find any of it funny. I found the gags to be lazy, derivative, obvious, and poorly executed. I don't find Ryan Reynolds entertaining generally. And again, I know I'm in the vast majority. I think I laughed a couple times in Deadpool 2. Wow, I just spoke really weird suddenly. I laughed a couple times during Deadpool 2, and that's about it for his filmography and my enjoyment of it. It just doesn't work for me. Wagner and his writing partner, Brent Goldberg, only wrote a handful of films. Their first work was Holiday in the Sun, starring the Olsen twins, then Van Wilder, then The Girl Next Door, which I will agree is the strongest of the bunch, and then Underclassmen, the movie with oh crap, who was it? Nick Cannon, where he goes undercover at an elite private school. Do you remember that one, T?
I do. Oh shit, I forgot the name of it though. But yes, I did see that one when it came out.
Yeah. Yeah, those are their works, and none of them really work for me, and that's okay. Just like if this works for you, that's okay. It's lazy. All these gags have been done to death in a billion other identical comedies, and they were done better. Uh, find Reynolds, especially here, to be too generic. He has no real personality. He's just generic sarcasm, and that doesn't work for me. I know it works for some people, and that's awesome. I need characters. If you're gonna do this kind of world, I need you to be more than just generic white guy punching down at everyone. I think Tara Reid, and now this is going to be the most divisive thing I'm going to say this episode. I think Tara Reid can be a strong comedic performer. She's really good in Josie and the Pussycats, and fine in The Big Lebowski and My Boss's Daughter and the American Pie films, and she's fine in her her role on Scrubs. She's fine in Sharknado. If given a chance, she can be a tolerable comedic actress. Not in this. I don't know what the fuck the directors were doing, but she is the most bland, personality-less creature wandering around doing nothing. Nothing is earned in this. The relationship in the end is just it's less than nothing in a comedy where that is like, I think that's supposed to be the main thrust, but we spend 4 more times watching Van Wilder's one African American friend jerk off his dog than we do spending time with the female lead. It just doesn't work for me. And again, if it works for you, awesome. I am glad it does. But for me, this is just it's a waste. It's a waste of some solid supporting cast for badly told, overdone jokes. Especially the guys in the basketball team. They're almost all, I don't know if they were pros at the time quite yet, or if they were up and coming college. Actually, they all would have been pros. They all would have been about 25, I think. But like Quentin Richardson's with them. Lamar Odin's one of the kids in the basketball teams. I mean, it's really good, but most of the jokes are just bad and dated. Aaron Paul shows up in 2 scenes, and Aaron Paul is, I like Aaron Paul. I didn't care for this. It just doesn't work for me. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
So, as I said last week,
Horrible.
what was that?
I don't know. I thought I heard someone say Tara Reid is adorable.
Oh yes, I will
Well,
agree.
yeah, in other things, not in this. In this, she's essentially a walking blow-up doll. She has no personality. Her character is nothing. It's just to include an extra dude for why is he even fucking there? I can't remember his name. The drummer from that thing you do.
Yeah, I forget
Why the
he was
fuck
in
is he
it.
even there?
Everett
What the
Scott,
fuck is
isn't
the
it?
point? Yes, Everett Scott. You're right.
Tom Everett Scott. Yeah.
Why
And when
he has more scenes than she does?
when he appeared again, I was like, oh yeah, he's the editor. Why is he
Like,
in this? Like,
was there like an hour cut out of this fucking movie that would have, made it better? Because what we got is just kind of nothing. It's nothing. The thing with him and the professor is totally everything is underbaked. So when he finally stands up and gives his fucking "I learned something" speech, it's like, what the fuck did you learn? You've faced nothing until like the last 3 seconds. What except the fact that the movie has another hour. Why are we even bothering with this? I'm not a fan. But again, comedy is highly subjective. So, it's okay.
But yeah, as I said last week, I wanted to pick a comedy that represents my kind of humor, and Van Wilder, no joke, is one of my top 3 favorite comedies of all time. Like, top 3. We actually covered my number 1 already. Do you remember what my number 1 is? I think you guys can remember this. Maybe not.
is it Freddy Got Fingered?
It's Freddy
Well,
Got Fingered.
no. Freddy Got Fingered is in my top 5, but Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle is my number 1,
Oh, okay.
which also
All
has Cal
right.
Penn in it. But love Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. Van Wilder is my number 3. I love this movie so much. I can put this on anytime and it never fails to make me laugh. I love Ryan Reynolds though. I love his snarky, rapid fire sense of humor. His comedic timing is fucking gold. I've been watching him since Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place, which is a great sitcom. He's an actor that I will legit watch anything and everything with him in it, no matter what, except for If. I won't watch If. Don't make me watch that, please. Now that I said it, it will be on Kevin's list. Sorry, Dave, because I just did that.
It's coming from the
Yes.
mind of John Krasinski, from the
That is-
imagination, the fertile imagination fields of John Krasinski. Oh yeah.
Did it hurt to tell that lie? Like, they didn't pay you. Like,
So
it
this-
sounded
yeah.
like it hurt. I heard tears in your voice. It shook a little there.
But yeah, that is the only Ryan Reynolds movie I have not seen, and I hope I don't have to, but I probably will eventually.
Can I ask you, T? I
Yeah.
don't know if this is a movie or a TV movie, but I always like the sound of. Is it called like just Boltneck or something? Have you seen that
Boltneck?
one?
Oh,
Yeah, it's
yes,
like a
yes,
campy one where it's like a Frankenstein creature.
I haven't seen that in years, but I have seen it. I don't really remember much about it. That was around the time that I was just like renting VHS from Blockbuster, and I rented that and like that really bad Adam Sandler movie Going Overboard. But it was around that
Oh
era. I
my.
don't really remember it though. I don't really remember that movie that much. But uh I'm gonna sound a little bit like Todd Phillips here for a second. And I make no apologies for it. But I am one of those people that does think comedy was so much better and so much funnier in the late 90s, early 2000s. Maybe it's my nostalgia because these were the comedies I did grow up watching, but that's just how I feel. I don't find this humor problematic. I just don't. I think if you're making a raunchy sex comedy, nothing should be off limits. And I'm not talking about you guys here. It's a movie. It's why I love Trauma so much. They offend everything and they make no apologies for it. And that's how most comedies should be. If you get offended by the humor in Van Wilder, just stop watching movies. With all that said though, for me, like I said, this movie is fucking hilarious. I think the cast is great. I love Cal Penn as Taj. His first interview just cracks me up. He just wants to dine at one American pink taco stand, guys. Tara Reid is fucking adorable, as Kevin said. I love Tara Reid. She had such a good little run of comedies, and she's just so cute in them all. I love her. Daniel Cosgrove plays the perfect preppy douchebag villain. I mean, he just revels in this role, and he's so good in it. I love him in this, even though he's a piece of shit, but I love him in it. That dog jizz eclair scene is so gross and so fucking funny. I mean, just the little comments in the background. Like, I think I've had this before, as they're all just gargling dog cum. It makes me laugh so fucking hard. The toilet humor, you gotta at least have one explosive diarrhea scene, and then some farting strippers, and it's a guarantee you'll have my heart forever. The pop punk soundtrack is great. I love all the bands in the soundtrack. You got Jimmy Eat World, American Hi-Fi, Sugar Bomb. Sugar Bomb is awesome. Really underrated pop punk band. I've always liked them. But I mean, I had like 48 notes, which is like a record amount of notes I've taken for a single film. And it's mostly just quotes from this movie, so I can't really put them in the notes. But yeah, I love this movie dearly, guys, as you can tell. It perfectly represents the style of humor that I love in cinema. Just raunchy, gross out bodily fluid gags with a little bit of rom-com thrown in. It's National Lampoon's at its very, very best. And I think it's a comedy classic. I adore it. Is that me doing Strange Brew?
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, yeah.
I
Alright.
can't do it unless you want to default to Kevin and say suck it.
No, I can do it. It's fine. It's a 1983 comedy. Canada's most famous hosers, Bob and Doug McKenzie, get jobs at a brewery only to learn that something is rotten with the state of it. I wasn't a huge fan of this one, but not on a brain donors level. There's a couple things I do kind of like in this. I like Rick Moranis, despite not being a big fan of almost any of his movies, which is strange. But he seems like such a good dude that you just have to like Rick Moranis. I like Little Giants and Carpool, but I think that's like to the extent of the Rick Moranis movies I like. I don't even like Spaceballs. I know a lot of people like that movie. I think that movie sucks, but a lot of people like that movie. So, um, I kind of like how weird the tone is, but it's one of those movies that for me it doesn't really make me laugh. It's not to say that it isn't funny, because what we say all the time. We just said it: comedy, subjective, all that shit. Doesn't mean it's not funny. It just means it doesn't work for that particular person. But a lot of it doesn't land for me personally. It feels tonally scattered, almost like a feature length SNL skit if SNL did like Canadian jokes, which I think this was based off like a skit show, if I'm not mistaken, right? I don't really know much about it.
SCTV, the Canadian skate comedy series that brought us John Candy, Rick Moranis, and a bunch of others. Yes, sir.
Yes, I never really got into that. I knew of it, but I just never really watched it. So I didn't really know this was actually based off a skit show, which it kind of makes sense now. But I never really vibed with you.
SCTV and The Kids in the Hall have proven repeatedly Canadian sketch comedy greater than American. I'm still upset by it too, guys, but we need to just admit it. And the English are better at us than we are too, and I won't admit that again, except right now.
Me, I never really vibed with the Doug and Bob McKenzie characters, but I did like seeing Max von Sydow as a villain. Max von Sydow was awesome, and he's always great, and he's fun here. I kind of hated the asylum subplot though. It felt like super meandering, and the Canadian shtick got like super old, super quick. But I guess that's the shtick of this movie, so your miles may vary on that one. I don't know. I think it's kind of a mess, but I can see the appeal. I just wasn't feeling it. My go-to beer movie will forever be Beer Fest, but this is wasn't my thing. But Rick Moranis is cool, so, but not brain donors level of bad. It just wasn't my thing.
Well, I'm glad that Dave picked this because I'd heard about it for many years and never got around to watching it. A lot of people love it. Like Scott, our Facebook friend, said he watches it like every, is it Canada Day or something, which obviously makes sense. And I was kind of familiar with the characters, and I had fun with this. I enjoyed it, and I think Rick Moranis and Dave Thomas are fun. They also co-directed this and co-wrote it with Steve DeJarnett, apparently, who did Miracle Mile in Cherry 2000.
Cherry 2000, that is on my list someday, T. Just get ready, baby. Get ready.
This was, I think I agree with T in that they obviously overdo full-on Canada of it all, with all the A at the end of every sentence. But it's still, like, it didn't fully annoy me, but it was getting close. Fortunately, one of the main actors is Rick Moranis, as I've just mentioned. And Rick Moranis is a bit of just a legend. He's a comedy legend, and yeah, I wish I'd watched this a long time ago just for him. And this made me remember that I'm sad for all the stuff that we've missed from Rick Moranis, for his own decisions having been made and for other decisions that have kept him away from film. So maybe one day we'll see a bit more from him. He's fun with Thomas, so I mean they are both really good together. So this is a great double act film. Von Sydow is a fun villain. Paul Dooley's in there. He's good. I did recognise the voice of their father, Mr. McKenzie, and I had to look it up to confirm that it was Mel Blanc. Yeah, I didn't trust myself. I'm like, is it just because I'm not attuned to the Canadian accent that I'm thinking this could be one of the most famous voices in the history of animation? And I was like, no, I was right. It is that voice. So that was fun. I enjoyed this, but I do think the second half kind of peters out. I much preferred the first half, and again, I would have to agree with Tyler. I wasn't a big fan of the stuff in the asylum, other than obviously the setting up of the plotting towards the end. There were some good extra gags at the end that had me enjoy it again, but overall, the first half was a lot stronger. I liked the. I don't know what the correct phrase is. Was it maybe meta at the start when they were having the movie and then leaving the movie and people were disappointed about that movie? I think it was maybe meta layer. I can't recall. But also there's a fun gag when they're driving about how people are shown driving in movies, which I really enjoyed. There were a few bits like that weren't just about the pursuit of a great beer and being a bit silly in that pursuit. Like, I enjoyed that well enough, but I also enjoyed them kind of not really mocking, but like bringing attention to some of the film tricks that are being used to tell the story. Like, I was pleasantly surprised by that stuff more because I didn't expect any of that there. So it was, and it was fun. The cast are all good. I also really liked Lynn Griffin, who plays the woman who ends up sort of befriending our hapless duo, and she could be in line to inherit the brewery. And yeah, it was a fun time, and I think I can see why so many would hold it as a beloved favourite. But it is a much stronger first half for me than a second half, and then picks up a bit at the very end.
Yeah, I mean, is it perfect? No, but I love this one. You're both wrong. Just so you know, it is amazing throughout. The stuff in the asylum with the hockey is brilliant and hilarious. But that's okay. Yeah, it's, as we always say, humor is completely subjective. So, my opinion is meaningless and yours is, it's a great one. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you don't appreciate it as much as I thought you would, T. I thought I would win you over with this one.
I didn't hate it though. I really, really didn't hate it. Like Brain Donors, I didn't like, but this one, I can actually see the appeal for this one.
I adore the McKenzie brothers. To me, I've watched SCTV reruns my whole life. Are hilarious, and they were mostly ad-libbed, and they have been endlessly knocked off and ripped off by SNL over the last 40 years since they did them. But those segments were almost all ad-libbed. They're almost completely and totally on the spot, made up while filming. So that they took that and they were still able to make it work in a script, a structured script that they only had a little bit of time to rework. Because what had happened is they had hired brain fart on his name, Steve DeGarrett, to write the script, and he went way too normal Hamlet for it. So Dave Thomas and Rick Moranis had a very short amount of time to rework the script, and that's where a lot of the beginning and ending stuff comes from. And the middle is mostly DeGarrett's script. The parts where it drags comes from that, which it's a shame that they didn't get a little bit more time to work it, because for me, the first third and the last third are amazing. Well, I guess the first third and the last half are amazing. I love the scene in the movie theater. I love their movie, Mutants of 2051 AD. Everything about it. I love the surrealism of it. There's just this terrific offhand, easygoing surrealism throughout the whole film that this is what I adore. While I don't, so much, I'm not so much into generic sarcasm. Give me some weird surrealism humor and I will be there. Give me the meta working class Canadian dimwits who should be rich because they made a movie and have a comedy and they're selling out the theater, but they have to borrow $15 from their dad to get beer. I love that. I love that this is a rough flick, and it does show that they had room for improvement. It's a shame they never got to make a second McKenzie brothers film, because I think they would have completely and totally knocked it out of the park. The soundtrack for this actually won a Juno Award for Best Comedy Album in Canada. The award was accepted in character, and it was the last album released by the duo, which I think is a shame, because they were funny together and they worked together. There was supposed to be a sequel they were talking about doing in the 90s, but financing fell through at the last minute. The film was actually going to be directed by Paul Flattery, who co-wrote it. Paul Flattery is one of the connected Canadian guys. I think he's related to, and he should, Joe Flattery, who was on SCTV and a bunch of other stuff. If I could remember off the top of my head other stuff, I'd say it, but I am totally brain farting. I love it, and I think it's a shame that the sequel didn't get made. Oh my God, 25 years ago. I'm so old. My back hurts looking at that. Anyway, I think the movie's great. I love the ending. Anything with a super dog saving Oktoberfest. I don't know how you can't love it more than you guys love it, but that's just me. And again, for the final time this week until next week, where I'm picking another comedy, humor is deeply subjective, and it either works for you or it doesn't. So you should see either movie if they sound even a little bit appealing to you, because again, humor is deeply subjective, and you should chase what you find funny, because life sucks and there's just not enough humor and joy as it is. It's time to pick one, and I know you're both going to disappoint me, but for me, it's Strange Brew. Don't both jump up at once.
I mean, mine's fairly obvious. I'm going with Van Wilder.
Yeah.
I did a Dave. I forgot it was muted. Um, despite my ramblings and my thoughts that may have given you pause, Dave, I'm actually going to go for the 42-year-old film that we didn't have to keep saying it was a different time about while discussing.
Nice.
I think overall, Strange Brew is it holds up better and it has 100% more Rick Moranis, which
It does, and
is
that
all
is
you need to get the edge.
that is worth a lot. Next week it's a normal week, and it's me and Kevin picking. Plus, Kevin has a special pick to reveal to us. So, Kevin, how about you? Well, I'll go first, I guess, because I've got to pick a lot this month. Thank you, Craig, for not being here, and thank you, random.org, for smiling on me. I couldn't decide again because, again, we don't pick comedies very often, but I've been in the mood for a laugh. So I had a hard time picking, so I had the guys help me. And Tyler, this is on you. We're going to be watching another 40-something-year-old movie. We're going to be watching my favorite comedy. This is Spinal Tap.
Oh, let's see. Well, that's not that bad. I thought we were watching more Marx Brothers or something. But,
I
no,
mean, that's still coming.
yeah.
I mean, I've got comedies planned for another. Okay, well, next week, the week after that's the special. So I got 2 more weeks of comedies coming. So at least, I mean, if Craig or somebody else goes away, random might hate you again.
I mean, like I said, I'm also picking comedies for a while, so we're just gonna be like doing the comedy show, and we can just keep
Yeah.
saying comedy is subjective with every review. Just
And it
every
is.
fucking review.
It is because my favorite comedies are the stuff you hate, and your favorite comedies is like the worst decade of comedy for me, and that's okay.
It's fine. Well, you're gonna be surprised. I do not hate This Is Spinal Tap. I
Oh,
even own that
hot
movie.
damn! I
Oh.
might. Wow. See, I'm shocked. So, Kevin, what's your pick and what's special? And we are covering LGBTQIA films this month because it's June, and well, we do a lot of LGBT films in the year also, but it's June and we're not above pandering. Yay!
Speaking of pandering, I hope you enjoy your sweep next week, you son of a bitch, because there's no way Tyler's going to like my choice. I don't even know if any of us will enjoy it. It is Atlantis from 1991, the micro-budget affair directed and written by Michael J. Murphy. Because I've been meaning to watch more Michael J. Murphy from the excellent box set that I bought a while ago, Magic, Myth and Mutilation, the micro-budget cinema of Michael J. Murphy. And we can all explore his oeuvre together.
And now remember to write out his whole name, because if you just put Atlantis Michael J, you're going to get the Disney movie.
Yes. Yeah. And I own them. I know they may be tricky. I have checked sources. So it should be viewable for
No,
all.
I
thought
found it as
this is
soon
a
as I
kind
popped it. Yeah, as soon as
Oh,
I put
cool.
the title in, I found like 8, so we're good.
This is a kind of micro-budget gem that I thought would tempt Craig back as well, but I don't know. Maybe he'll wait till a special. My special pick is I just want to get our blind spot out of the way though. It's 2005's Brokeback Mountain.
Ooh. You went hard with the sad. Yay! T,
Yes.
in honor of my victory, would you like to give him the business?
I would love to. And Kevin, does Craig have you tied in a basement picking micro budget schlock? What the fuck's man? What are you doing, bro?
I gotta say to you, I watched so far. I watched one film from the set, and it was called Torment, and I actually like enjoyed it. It was one of those where, it's kind of it's well made for the resources he had, and but also the moments that weren't as good added to the charm, like the bits where you could see him filming from
Mhm.
a mirrored angle and stuff. I personally, I don't think this is like Neil Breen stuff, because as far as I'm aware, I don't think Michael J. Murphy was in every one of his films and doing absolutely everything, but they are very low budget, lo-fi, made in Britain movies that wanted to possibly feel like they weren't made in Britain. So I think there may be something that you will see in them that is a bit different and less painful than some of the choices Craig might give us.
I don't think he's in Atlantis.
No, I don't think it is. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
They're not. It is micro budget. It is full of like little gaffes and limitations, but they don't feel like on-screen vanity projects in the way that the Neil Breen films do. Do you know what I mean? So you're safe from that tea. They feel like someone always overreaching, but I think that can also give you, really, really good moments if you can look past like all of their limitations.
Oh no,
So
I'm
it
willing.
feels
I'm
like
willing.
Night Beast.
Oh, that's not
Well,
good. I mean, the stills look just like something, but I'll give it a chance. If it has anything to do with like underwater Atlantis, it might be fun. You never know. You never know.
I mean, we will know. We'll know in 7 days.
That's true. I'll probably know in a couple days, so I'll let you know. I'm sure there'll be angry messages in the chat. Well, I'll let you know. You'll see.
I was
We're-
wondering which one to pick, and I was like, Atlantis seems like the most unlikely thing you could film well. So
Yeah. I mean, to be
let's
fair.
give that one a go. Because surely if you're on a budget, you don't think, oh, make something with an underwater city in it.
Well,
uh,
Tyler does. As always, thanks for listening. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll talk to you next week.
But
Wait,
T's
did you give him the
not giving us
business?
the
He didn't
business
give him
yet.
the business yet.
yeah, I didn't do the
I am
business
so
yet.
tired. I know I asked, and then I
Yeah,
shut
no,
down my brain, and we were thinking about Atlantis.
Yeah, I went on a little. I went on a
My bad.
small micro budget tirade there for a minute, but I'll give you the business. We're on Instagram, Raiders_of_the_podcast. We're on Facebook, where I sometimes remember to post stuff on Wednesdays. We have a YouTube channel where you can like, subscribe, and comment and watch Kevin's awesome videos weekly. We have a Discord, we have a Blue Sky, and you can always email us at raidersofthepodcast@gmail.com.
Nice. Can I say it now?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. That's just the week it's been. As always, thanks for listening again. Thanks for joining me again. I'll talk to you next week.
See ya.
See ya.
She's